your yellow side, you have your middle two layers, and you're just working on finishing up this top layer up here. So if you were using the guide, you're looking at page 13, and we already have that completed. So we're going to move on to page 14, and it says we're going to position the yellow corners. So we're getting very close to the end, okay? If you look at the yellow corners, you can kind of tell that, like, this piece, for example, is not correct. I can see that this one is not correct. Let me just see if I can fix my lighting a little bit. This piece right here does not line up. This piece does line up. So it looks like I do have a correct corner here. And if I keep looking, I do have a correct corner here. Now, sometimes this may require you to like spin your cube a couple times until you see where you have the correct pieces. Mine just happened to already be there. I can see that lines up, but I'm really just looking for the edges the corners, and that corner does not line up. So if I keep going, I see that I have two corners that are my blue corners that are lined up correctly, okay? So you wanna line up two correct corners, just like we did in our 2x2 cube videos earlier, if you have watched those. I'm gonna hold these two in the back. So that's the same as the 2x2 cube as well. We've got yellow on top, white on bottom, okay? And I'm holding my two correct corners in the back, all right? The other case that you might have would be diagonals. So for example, you have a diagonal that's correct here, okay? And if, let's say this other piece over here was also correct, that would be called your diagonal corners. We have adjacent corners, which means that they are next to each other. So on that same face, they are next to each other. So those are adjacent. If your two correct corners were here, they would be called diagonal, and you would have one more step, okay? But because we have adjacent, we're holding them in the back, yellow on top, and we're gonna go do this kind of long algorithm. Again, I want you to notice that there are two cards here. So this is one move, one move, one move, and two of the same move. One, 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 two, two, and one. I feel like this is the step where a lot of people mix up their cube because they go too fast, or they maybe don't notice that there are two cards on each of these. And then you end up being back at the very beginning. So seriously, please take your time and go really slow. I always tell people that, and some people just get too excited because they think they're at the end and they just want to solve it, and then they mess up this step and have to start all over. All right, so I'm going to move my right side down, my front face right, and now we have two back moves. And then my back, oops, one, two, and now we're here. We have right, front, right invert, and now two more back moves. Okay, and then we have two right moves, and then we have this final up move. And because we were lucky enough to have adjacent corners, those two corners that were correct, we have solved the cube. There are a couple other videos I'm going to add that where you don't always have that case, especially when you have diagonal corners, so that you might have additional steps, or you might be lucky enough to have already solved. A lot of people actually have one more step, which is on pages 16 and 17, which I will also talk about in another video after this. But if you were lucky enough to get to skip that step, then you are already done and you've solved your 3x3. If you want to keep going with cubes and you want to start the 4x4, you are going to want to solve this guy at least 10 times. At least 10 times before you're ready for the 4x4. Enjoy!